Bridging the gap between the CSC and the professional DSLR, it was only a matter of time before Olympus put their expertise into a product that not only went a step further than the iconic OM-D E-M1, released only last year, but encapsulated the professional photographer's wish list in terms of spec and quality. Listening to the feedback of their consumers, Olympus came parading back with the E-M1 as a contender against the big guys. A slightly bigger version than the E-M1, but a body that is a fraction the size of those hefty DSLRs, while producing the best ever image quality from an Olympus camera. A bold statement to make maybe, but in the realms of Castle Leslie in Ireland, where ghosts and glamour were brought to life for Olympus's mechanical wizardry with its new live MOS sensor and next generation True Pic 7 image processor, is a claim they can certainly live up to. With one of the world's fastest autofocus systems, a huge plus point when used in conjunction with its 10 frames per second sequential shooting, the E-M1 detects which lens you're using and automatically switches to the suitable dual-fast AF technology, so all of Olympus's 63 micro four thirds and 4/3 lenses are compatible. One of the notable aspects of Olympus's legacy is its record-breaking hybrid 5-axis image stabilisation system, making handheld shots a breeze with its comfortable grip and shooting full HD movies a pleasure thanks to its compensation for movement around the lens axis, as well as horizontal and vertical shift. Priding its improved noise reduction and colour fidelity, reaching ISOs up to 25,600, the E-M1 certainly comes into its own when in low light situations, retaining details to impeccable standards. Also answering to the needs of a host of genres that push the boundaries beyond studio photography, the E-M1's magnesium body is a reliable investment with thanks to its dust, splash and freeze proofing down to 10 degrees centigrade. And if that wasn't enough to tickle your adventurous taste buds, the incorporated Wi-Fi capabilities pushed forward from the EP5 allows you to take full control over settings via your smartphone and iPad, enabling remote control over ISO, aperture, mode selection, shutter speed and the like. Of course, Olympus's set of 12 art filters are encompassed within the mirrorless system to complement your photographic style. Whether you like monotone, pinhole or pop art results, they're all ready and waiting for you. Mark Thackara from Olympus tells us more.
It is now our flagship camera. It replaces the E5 and it is a culmination of all the feedback we've had about the OM-D, which has been a huge success, and this takes it to a new level.
Because the OM-D was quite a standout camera. How could you have possibly improved on the OM-D to the E-M1 now?
Well, everything that anybody ever produces gets comments, and there were things all the way from the button layout in some cases, some of the controls people would have preferred differently. I think the key issue, however, was that it was not 100% perfect with the old E-System lenses, and that was the big thing they had to crack. For people who have the E-System glass, they needed a camera that had phase detection, which is what this does.
And what was the thinking behind making it a bigger version of the original OM-D?
The only real change, it's not actually that much bigger, but the grip on the side is, again, in response to some people's comments about the handling. And although on the OM-D you can put a detachable grip, this just seemed a more elegant way of doing it, and it allowed us to put more controls also on the top of the camera.
And what's been the feedback on it over the past 2 days?
Extremely good, extremely good. Much as we expected, because we were pretty confident about the camera, but I think we're pretty happy with the way people have perceived it. It performed as well or better than we thought, so it's all good. And
what's been 2013 like for Olympus?
It's been interesting. The market's in a very difficult position because the compact camera sales have declined a lot for all the manufacturers, which has made people sit up and think. We've all had to start to think about what happens next, and system cameras is where it's at, which is why this is such an important launch. But the general consensus is that we feel with this range of products that we have now and the ones coming that we know about, that there's a very good opportunity to make a big difference in the system camera market and go back to really where we were in the 70s and 80s with the OM series, which was very successful.
Set for release in October, the Olympus E-M1 is pining to be a front-runner rival in the higher-end camera market with its impressive spec and image quality upon first glance.